Hi, everyone, and thanks for checking out this movie ranking video. So today, I'm going to go ahead and complete my horror franchise series Child's Play by giving some thoughts about the entire series, all eight movies, as well as ranking all eight movies from my least favorite to my favorite, or worst to best, whatever have you. I don't like saying worst to best because that's too general for me, and I know people have different tastes and different likes, and so I prefer to say least favorite to favorite, which I'll be doing in all these movie franchise reviews and rankings that I do. Um, so first, I'll just go ahead and get started with my thoughts. It's my first time watching all eight movies from beginning to end in this franchise, and I have to say, a couple things I like about this franchise is, especially the first seven films, kind of taking the remake out of it. The first seven films are pretty loyal. They don't do like other franchises do, where they start and stop and then restart by having you ignore these movies, and these ones didn't actually happen, and you got to pick up here, and kind of like a certain franchise, another horror franchise does. A couple of them actually, but one specifically that I can think of. All seven movies as they go are um, part of the story. You know, the story, even though it kind of goes off into some weird places throughout the series, they never lose sight of the movies that came before, and they're all, as the movies go on, you get Easter eggs or hints from each of the previous movies. So they don't ignore any movies, and I like that. A lot of horror franchises, like I said, they tend to like ignore previous movies or some movies and have you pick up with others. So I give this franchise a lot of props for that. Also, I'll say that out of the eight films in this movie, even though I like some more than others, there really isn't one movie that's like horrible, in my opinion, that I can't watch. Now, there's a couple movies I probably have to be in the right mood and the right mindset to watch and enjoy more than some of the others. But some of the other horror movie franchises, they have movies that I just dread having to watch. This franchise really doesn't. I mean, even my least favorite that you'll see shortly, I can get something out of it. I can get some entertainment value out of it. Again, if I'm in the right mindset. So, yeah, I really enjoy this series. I think it's definitely one of the top five horror franchise series of all time. Um, Everybody has their own taste. I don't know where I would rank it in that pantheon. Maybe I'll do that later this year, or the end of the year, rank all the horror major franchises. That's all going to be personal opinion as well, though. Um, but yeah, I really enjoy this franchise. Checking it out for the first time, it's really entertaining. It's really, some of them are scary and creepy, and you got a horror icon in Chucky, especially the Brad Dourif version. That's just iconic and will be for until the end of time. So I don't really have any negatives. Like I said, they took some pretty. The only It's not really a negative, but the only thing I could say, sort of the mix side, I guess, is that they took some pretty crazy twists and turns um, throughout the series, and then kind of reset again a couple times, which is fine. I mean, that happens, but because you can't just, I give them credit too, because they never really rehashed the same exact movie. You could say the first three movies were kind of similar, but to me, there's enough differences that they're not. It's not a direct rehash. The story kind of evolves throughout all eight films, and I really appreciate that. So I'll go ahead and get this thing started off with. So coming in at number eight, my least favorite, probably won't be a huge surprise if you've seen my reviews, but I'm going to have to go with the Oscar-worthy Seed of Chucky from 2004. um, Yeah, this is a pretty far out there movie, like I was talking about. This is the movie that has Redman in it, Jennifer Tilly. It's really her movie in a lot of ways. Um, but like I said, if I'm in the right mindset, there's still a lot of entertainment value here between Chucky and Tiffany. Chucky's one-liners, his look with the stitch face. He looks evil. Um, it's not the best well-written or directed movie by any means. And some of the characters and performances are but like I said, the kills are good. They're gory. They're creative, and like I said, Chucky is entertaining. So like I said, in the right mind frame, I can get some entertainment out of this movie. But of the eight movies, this is my least favorite because it's just a little bit too out there, and the biggest thing is it's the furthest movie away from the roots of what made Child's Play, the original from 1988, so effective. So, yeah, my least favorite Seed of Chucky. Next up, for, number seven, I guess it would be the Child's Play remake from 2019. Now, if you've seen my review, I admitted that this movie probably doesn't fare as well for me right now because I watched all the Don Mancini movies and then I watched this one, which is kind of hard to do because you really have to watch this one aside from um, the Universal Child's Play or the Brad Dourif Child's Play or the Don Mancini Child's Play, whatever you want to call it. Um, I just sort of viewed this as like a sort of a modern day paint by numbers horror movie that had a toy or like a robot go bad, as opposed to like a Chucky movie. But again, I'm planning on watching after I take a break from this franchise, probably watch it the end of this year, 6 months or so, and give it. It's definitely worth a rewatch. There's enough good in it, especially the performances. But yeah, I have to say at this time, I can't really rank it any higher than this. I just did not enjoy the look of Chucky or who Chucky was in this movie, basically. So that's why it comes in at number seven. Number six might be a little controversial because I know this is a high ranking movie for most people, but I do really like this movie. I just don't love it like I do some of the ones ahead of that, and that is Bride of Chucky from 1998. Now, this movie is really well directed by Ronnie Yu, and Jennifer Tilly really adds a lot, brings a lot to this series, along with Brad Dourif, of course, as Chucky. But they did take a different route with this movie. They kind of went away from what the first three movies did, and a little bit more comedic, a little bit more for entertainment value without any of the suspense or the thrills. There are pretty good kills in it. We get John Ritter in it, which is fun. Um, it's a horror comedy, even says that. So I enjoy it. It's entertaining. Like I said, I like this movie. I definitely don't dislike it, but I just like other movies higher on this ranking than this one. But Bride of Chucky's definitely one that I could watch pretty much any time. The first two, I would say, Seed of Chucky and the remake, I'd have to be in the right mindset and mood for. Starting with this one, though, I think I could put this on pretty much most of the time. So yeah, number six, Bride of Chucky. Coming in at number five is sort of a polarizing movie that a lot of people don't have ranked terribly high, but I have it as my number five, and that's Cult of Chucky. I really appreciated this movie for a couple of different reasons. First of all, Fiona Dourif's performance, as I said in my review for this movie, is phenomenal. Even better than Curse of Chucky. She really carries this movie, and I like the turn that she has towards the end in the third act when she becomes a possessed version of Chucky. Um, this movie's not perfect. Jennifer Tilly mails it in, as I said in my review. But what I also really like about it is the fact that they went in a different direction. It's kind of what I was getting back to before. It's definitely not a rehash. The cult of Chucky and having multiple Chuckies. Some people don't like that, I know. But I mean, at this point in the franchise, what were you really going to do? I appreciated it, and I enjoyed the asylum sort of or mental hospital setting, not as much as some of the other settings, as I'll go higher in my list, but uh, characters were good for the most part, decent acting. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I know it's polarizing, but I really like Cult of Chucky. So this is number five for me on my list. Um, Number four, I'm going to go with another movie people have kind of low on their list that I really enjoyed, though, and that's Child's Play 3 from 1991. So, this is the movie where Chucky follows an older Andy Barclay. I think he's like 16 now, or maybe even not that old. So he's a teenager and he goes to the military school, and Chucky basically tracks him down there. Now, this movie, well, not perfect. I really enjoyed it. I get a lot of enjoyment out of this movie, especially the third act with the theme park or the amusement park and the haunted house ride or fun house that they're in where Chucky gets half his face sliced off. That's still to me one of the best images in the entire Child's Play franchise. And I don't know, I don't understand the hate for this movie. I know it's different setting and Andy's not the same. He's older, and they try to have him possess a different kid in this movie. Um, but I really like this movie. When I watched it the first time, I really enjoy it. And again, Brad Dourif as Chucky is great in this movie. I love the beginning of this movie when he comes back to life. Yeah, just great. Child's Play 3, definitely enjoyable as my number four. So now we're getting into the top three, and my number three is from 2013, Curse of Chucky. Yeah, this was the biggest surprise to me with the lowest expectations, and it really worked for me. Aside from the fact that a lot of the characters in this movie are pretty forgettable and not great acting, Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif, and the fact that they went back to the roots with this movie, as far as like sort of the creepy, dark atmosphere, storming outside the big house, kind of like a haunted house. All that stuff worked for me. Brad Dourif as Chucky once again knocked it out of the park. I like the flashback scenes with um, Charles Lee Ray. Some people could say that they kind of added a new storyline that a lot of people didn't like. But again, what are they going to do at this point of the movie? I liked it. It wasn't the same thing. Like I said, what I really like about this movie is it went back to the roots after Bride and Seed kind of took more of a comedic, outside the box sort of approach to those movies, even though there is entertainment value in them. This felt more like an original Chucky movie to me, and yeah, Fiona Dourif again, just phenomenal. Don Mancini did a better job with this movie as far as writing and directing it. So yeah, Curse of Chucky, definitely one I could put on anytime. Really enjoyable horror movie. Now we get down to the final two. So this I don't think will be controversial, but I'm going to go with the original Child's Play from 1988 is my second favorite film. This is one of the great horror movies of all time. I mean, it's just great. Um, Andy Barclay, Karen as mom. Of course, we get Chris Sarandon as the officer. I can't think of his name right now. Alex Vincent and Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon. They're all phenomenal in this movie. The atmosphere, the tone of this movie, the creepiness, it all works. Brad Dourif again is great as Chuck, even though we really don't get to hear much from him until halfway through the movie. But it's a great reveal when we get it. Yeah, this is one of the great horror movies of all time. Really, definitely one of the great slasher movies. And there's a reason why it's iconic, and there's a reason why Chucky became iconic. Brad Dourif as Chucky. So, yeah, the original Child's Play from 1988, my number two. But in the end, there can only be one number one. And like some other people that I've seen, my number one, my favorite Child's Play movie has to be the direct sequel to the first one, and that's Child's Play 2. This has really no negatives to it. I mean, everything works in this movie. Brad Dourif is Chucky, awesome performance. Alex Vincent, even better in this movie. Um, the side characters that we get in this movie, like Christine Elsie as Kyle, is great. The final third act, where they have the big showdown in this toy factory, is phenomenal. Um, yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about this movie, which is why it's my number one. Everything works. The humor isn't forced, but it's definitely there. Chucky's got the one-liners. This is Chucky at his best. It's also Child's Play movie wise at its best. It's kind of everything at its best. And for me, it was kind of an easy choice to this to be my number one. Yeah, I could obviously the last five, like I mentioned, I could watch anytime. This one I could watch. I could probably have on repeat. To be honest with you, I just love this movie. It's definitely the best in the franchise, for my opinion. Now, for those of you that have the original number one, I'm certainly not going to blame you for it. I think one or two would definitely be the, in my opinion, is the best in the franchise. I just prefer number two. There's just a little bit more entertainment value, maybe a little bit less mystery. The first one has a little more mystery. The second one, we know Chucky's the killer, but like I said, everything just works in that movie. So yeah, that's my ranking, guys. So go ahead and like this video and comment down below what you think of my ranking and where you would rank these movies. Tell me if I'm way off base with any of them. I think the only one that's probably going to be controversial on my list is Bride of Chucky. being number six because I know a lot of people have love for that movie. I have like for it. So, but yeah, go ahead and comment your thoughts down below, like my video, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can see my next um, major horror franchise review and ranking for the month of July. Now that June's just about over here, which I'm going to announce shortly. Also, other future, excuse me, other future movie reviews at random that I'll be doing, and also some television series reviews. Stay tuned for those over the course of the summer and into the fall. So, but at this time, the big announcement is that my next, oh, and I wasn't prepared. I don't have it over here, so I'll just have to say it. But my next, for the month of July, the horror franchise that I'm going to take a look at, review all the movies, and go ahead and rank them at the end of the month is, drum roll, Nightmare on Elm Street. All nine films, the seven original Nightmare films, then Freddy versus Jason, and the 2010 remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. So this is a series I'm a little bit more familiar with. I've seen the movies before, although it's been a while. So it's definitely going to do me good to go through and watch them all the month of July. And just like the Child's Play series, I'll go ahead and give my individual reviews on each movie. And then at the end of the month, I'll have same as this video, my thoughts on the entire series as well as the ranking from 9 down to 1, my least favorite to my favorite. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for checking it out. I hope you enjoyed my Child's Play franchise review and ranking. Stay tuned for Nightmare on Elm Street, and have a great day. Bye.